All right, S&P futures here just about unchanged, although slightly in the red. As mentioned at the top here, they were actually lower this morning, so they're trading up off of their lows. Perhaps that's a sign of things to come here. Dow futures leading the way lower here, minus 0.24%. And technology, the NASDAQ futures are actually in the green by 0.06%. So looking like a mixed open ahead of Friday's session here today. All right, let's take a look at some cues from the last session. Most sectors of the S&P 500 closed on a positive note, with consumer discretionary, healthcare, and material stocks recording the biggest gains on Thursday. However, energy stocks bucked the overall market trend, closing the session slightly lower. This broad strength helped U.S. settle higher, with the Dow Jones gaining more than 600 points as investors assessed key consumer inflation data. The momentum pushed all three major U.S. equity benchmarks, the S&P 500, the NASDAQ 100, and the Dow Jones, to fresh record highs as investors piled into risk assets on growing bets that interest rates will soon fall. Kroger reported better than expected second quarter earnings. In contrast, the Lovesac, ticker LOVE, fell around 15% after the company cut fiscal year 2026 GAAP EPS guidance and narrowed its sales outlook. The Trump administration on Thursday urged D.C. Federal Appeals Court to allow the firing of Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook to take effect before the central bank's interest rate setting meeting next week. Meanwhile, the Dow closed above the $4,600 mark for the first time on Thursday, and despite gloomy economic data, U.S. inflation accelerated to 2.9% year over year in August, while weekly jobless claims spiked to 263,000, their highest level since October of 2021. The 10-year Treasury bond yielded 4.04%, and the 2-year bond was at 3.56%.